Good morning, everyone. This is the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. It's Monday, July 7th, 2025. The time is 9:01 a.m. Let's open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ed. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Commissioner Reagan.
Present.
Commissioner Brand. Here. Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Daniel in today.
Okay, we're going to start off with a public hearing for ADA compliance plan. We've been working on a plan for the county. I think there was one done in, what was it, 2013, I believe. And so we're trying to review and update our plan. So we're going to open the meeting with a public hearing in regards to that plan. Does anyone have any comments up here? Before we go?
So this is in accordance with Title VI. This is in accordance with Title VI. So basically, we have to review all county-owned buildings. There are some county-owned sidewalks, believe it or not, in some of the unincorporated territories of the county. And this is the public feedback portion if you have concerns or questions about any of the ADA accessibility to any county-owned facilities or any of the county-owned properties.
Sherry, do you have anything to add?
No, I do not.
Would anyone like to speak about any of our properties? Have any suggestions?
So this would include the fairgrounds. This would include the health department,
This building,
the
Justice
Justice
Center.
Center, some of the EMS stations, one EMS, thank you, Mike, one EMS station.
anyone at all? Colleen, would you like to?
Good morning, Kylene Spackhammer, Planning Commission. So I have also brought, I will put out on the table here, as you said, it's talking about the county-owned facilities. I have also brought, we do have a public survey that's posted on our website currently. So I have brought a QR code, if anyone would like to scan that and complete the survey. I also have brought a couple of resource page that lists the websites for Delaware County that you can go to get information on this. Our previous plans are posted on here. Any of the things we're working on as updates are posted on there. So I will set that out. And then I also printed out just a couple of paper copies of the survey if anyone's not able to do it online or on your phone. There's a couple of paper copies that I will set out as well. So this feedback is just going to help us in the process of updating the plan. We are currently, I believe, all of the buildings except for two have been, except for three, have been visited and assessed by the consulting firm that we're using. So we're in the process.
Do you have a deadline that you need this?
Well, we are tentatively scheduling our next public meeting for August 6th. So all of this information will be up on the website, and we'll be taking all of this information at least until that date. When we have that second public input meeting, we'll be giving a little bit more feedback at that public meeting as well. So that's tentatively set for August 6th at the Emergency Management Building.
Thank you.
So I will leave all this stuff out on the table.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to close the hearing in a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have Employee of the Month.
Yep.
Mr. Brand?
Yep, thank you. So this month, we have Employee of the Month nominations, one for the Justice Center and one for the county building here downtown. And Don Chambers is going to announce the winners.
For listening to anything, so. All right, first one is I got for Pam Jackson. She's a very well dedicated employee. You ask her to do anything, she's right there on it, so. And I appreciate, and she don't talk about herself very much, so I don't know very much about her, so, but I just know she's a good employee and I need about 10 more just like her, so. And I appreciate everything you do. Then the second one is Skip from maintenance. He's the head of maintenance over at jail. With me being still fairly new here, 3 months, if it wasn't for Skip, I'd be lost. So he helps out a lot with the community, raises money with the Legion for shop with a cop for like, or shop with Legionnaires for like toys for tots and stuff like that. So, and plus he's an intricate part of the company. So I appreciate all your hard work. And that's it there. So
Thank you.
There's a required 5-minute speech. Yeah. I really appreciate what both of you guys do. I worked with Pam previously and worked with Pam here, and her work ethic is second to none, both before I worked here at the county and now that I'm at the county. So every time I see Pam, she's working, and Skip has been willing to do whatever's asked of him so long as it's safe, moral, ethical, and legal, and I appreciate that.
Thank you both. All right, next we'll go to appointments. We'll do everything together here. We got the Board of Health, Civic Center Authority Board, and the Fair Board.
Yep. So first off, on the Board of Health, as mentioned a couple meetings ago, we still have a couple of vacancies. There's one vacancy for the city executive, and what should be happening there, the mayor should be bringing a couple of names to the commissioners as recommendations, and then the commissioners would select. And that particular appointment needs to be a Democrat. And due to John Peterson taking over the interim chief health officer of the county, we, the commissioners, need to replace him, and that's also a Democrat. So just a reminder, they need to come from medicine, nursing, hospital administration, pharmacology, social work, dentistry, veterinary medicine, engineering, environmental science, a legal profession, or school administration. And I think this is at least the third or fourth meeting I've talked about it. We don't have one single person that I'm aware of that has submitted their interest. Did get some information from our legal team. Indiana Code 16-20-2-11 requires the current Board of Health to provide a list of 5 candidates to the commissioners, and 3 of them must have professional experience in one of the following categories. So I hope the board at the Board of Health is working on this. The next one is the Civic Center Authority Board. Those current appointments for the commissioner, there are 3 people, their terms end July 31st this year. One of them is Cherish Howe, another one is Scott Alexander, and the third one is David Hanauer. I have communicated with all 3 of them. 2 of them are willing to continue. One of them I have just not heard back from yet, so I'm not saying that they're not willing to, but David Hanauer is willing to continue, Scott Alexander is willing to continue, and I'm still waiting to hear from Cherish Howe. So in our next meeting, we'll need to take action on these board appointments. But if anyone else is wanting to join the Civic Center Authority Board, you'll need to get your interest in before our next commissioner meeting in 2 weeks. And then for the Fair Board, Sherry, you want to talk about the Fair Board?
Well, we could always use people who are willing to give their time, because it is a big parcel of our ground out there. And then the fair's 10 days that they do like to have the volunteers work those days. So it's just kind of a unique obligation that they would have to give up some, weeks in the summertime. But we're doing fine without the board members, but be thinking of some people who would like to get involved, because we're always needing new ideas, and nothing wrong with the old timers. I shouldn't say that, but, yeah, we just need to, look to see who's interested.
So we have 3 openings currently, 6 active board members, and I want to emphasize the word active. All 6 of these are very active. Their terms end December 31st. So are you planning to talk to them to see if they're willing
I
to
will.
continue? Okay. I'll make you a copy of this list. That's it, Mr. President.
Okay, next we have table business, the solar moratorium.
Make a motion to remove the solar moratorium from the table so I can provide a quick update.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
yes,
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
So there's a company, I mentioned them previously, named Holocene Clean Energy, Holocene. They're interested in doing brownfield developments. I don't want to say no brownfield development too small, but they have talked about as small as 10 to 15 acres in the, 5 to 10 megawatt range. They are interested in 3 of our larger brownfield locations here in Delaware County. They have offered letters of interest to at least 2 of those, and they've spoke to the owners of the 3rd one. I'm really encouraged by this, and I think that's a great reuse for some of our brownfield, our large former industrial sites that have not had any other type of activity in quite some time. Also heard a lot from the public here in the last probably 3 weeks. We haven't had a meeting here for about 3 weeks, and mostly hearing people saying now, and this is a new message to me, no to solar. They want us to completely say no to solar. I haven't heard that before. Always before, the people that were concerned with it wanted some protection for their property values and their view shed and things like this. But we've had, and the commissioners, all 3 have received several notices lately where they're just asking us to say no to solar completely. And then been a lot of talk about prime farmland and what does prime farmland mean. And there's a map floating around that shows Delaware County, and almost the whole map is green. And the allegation is that that constitutes prime farm ground in Delaware County. Nothing could be further from the truth. Just because it's usable land does not mean it's prime farm ground. Flood maps come into play, and I've mentioned this before about the Exilio project up in Eaton. That project is restrained and restricted by the flood maps, not anything to do with the ordinance. We have 2 pretty good size rivers flowing through our county, the Mississinawa and the White River, and a lot of the areas around those rivers and the tributaries are floodways and flood zones, including the 2% fringe. Any of that property is not considered prime farm ground. And I've had farmers say, well, how can my farm ground be not considered prime farm ground when it's never flooded? Just because it's never flooded doesn't mean it's not on the FEMA map or the flood insurance rate maps. So the things that we'll be looking at when it comes to prime farm ground, the USDA, the NRCS, Indiana Code 14-8-2-213, United States Secretary of Agriculture has a say in what is constituted as prime farm ground. Of course, FEMA, and then again, the flood insurance rate map. So if you guys see a map that shows Delaware County green, that does not mean prime farm ground. In fact, in the United States, only 23% of all usable land is considered prime farm ground. So it's not as much as you think. And that concludes my update, Mr. President.
want to put it back on then.
Yep, motion to table.
Somebody-
Second.
We have a motion and a second to put it back on the table. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes,
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. I'm just gonna go ahead and ask this question. Colleen, is there a date yet for a public hearing? Okay. There's not a date yet.
I would expect it to be in August, at least. We're trying to get all of the board members of the Planning Commission to be present. I think something this big and this serious, everyone should be present, so trying to coordinate all those schedules, it looks like it's gonna be August sometime at best.
Okay.
Yep.
Next, we have the IU Health Master Agreement.
I'd like to make a motion to remove this from the table for discussion.
second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
yes,
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
So Pam, we've been talking about this. I think this first came up in our January 6th meeting. we have the IU clinic, and we pay them a lump sum of about, I think it's exactly, not about, $500,000 a year for our employees and their dependents to use the services at IU Health. This is free to the employees, although a $500,000 cost to the taxpayers. But our utilization is very low. And we asked IU to provide us alternatives to the lump sum and just hoping that people are going to use it. There are many services provided at our clinic that are free to the employees and their dependents, including their spouses, that people choose to go get those services somewhere else. So we're paying a $500,000 balloon payment to IU Clinic for a service that could be free to an employee, and employees are electing to go somewhere else and get it. So we're sort of paying double for it. So what we asked the clinic to provide was an a la carte type of a solution, a per employee, per visit alternative. And I believe we have that in our hands now, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if we look at 2024 data, 81% of the visits were employees. That means 19% were dependents or spouses. And of that 399 total visits, it brings the cost per visit, and I'm getting this right from the information from Abby at IU Clinic, is $307 per employee per visit. It's pretty expensive. The a la carte offering would have us paying $56.65 per visit per use if somebody were to use it. So it's about a $250 a visit savings. There are a couple of other things here that they do. The medication management, what you do if you go to the clinic, they'll write you a prescription right there and they'll fill it if possible. And that's costing us a little over $100,000 a year. The challenge there that I see is we don't participate in the rebates from those prescriptions that are written at the clinic. If we were to no longer offer medication management at our clinic, which means an employee could go, the doctor would see them, they'd write a prescription, and then someone would need to go to Walgreens or CVS or Meijer or Target, wherever, and get their prescription filled. It would still be managed through our pharmacy benefit manager, through Apex. In the future, it would be McGriff, but then we could participate in the rebates. And I have done a little bit of math real quickly. I estimate that would save us, based on 2024 numbers, $102,364 a year. So based on my rough math and on 2024 usage, assuming the usage in the future is going to be exactly the same, I believe switching to this a la carte per employee per visit and eliminating the pharmacy management services at the clinic would save us about $300,000 a year. So on top of the $500,000 that we give them, there are additional charges. And for 2024, those total expenses were $393,168.31. So that is the update. Pam, do you have comments or a recommendation?
I appreciate the work you done on that this morning, at the last minute. I know a lot of people love the clinic. They love Dr. Hoban, but it is costing us a lot of money. And I think that's what the root of all evil is. We've got to get down to saving money.
So this wouldn't eliminate the clinic.
No, it would not eliminate
Right.
the clinic. It
People
would
could
just
still see
eliminate-
Dr. Hovan. They could still go to the clinic.
That's right.
But
they're
we
just not
would
gonna
get
their free
charged
meds.
on a utilization schedule instead of give them a $500,000 and hope they come schedule,
Right,
right?
right.
So I don't know what your thoughts are.
Are you putting that in a motion?
Not yet. I was waiting for discussion.
Yeah, so I'd like to see a contract to that effect.
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate all your homework on that too, Stephen, because
Do you wanna see if the clinic would provide a contract with the a la carte option?
Okay.
I do have a question. It's reference to the statement made about the 394,000. Do you know what that is?
It would be the additional things like going to the chronic care or the emergency services, scheduling something during non-normal walk-in hours, sleep studies, those types of things.
So those, that would be addressed in the contract also?
I would hope so.
You want to see if you can get that for us? a
Yeah,
contract?
I will.
Have
I
it
will
ready
get
for the
that.
next meeting.
We had another option that we were looking at on a clinic too, Stephen.
Yep.
I.
Do you want
don't
to talk
know-
about it?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, I can't even think of the name of the place.
Marathon?
Marathon. We do have another, clinic option that we're looking at. It's just kind of on the table. We're not even, haven't got into, but it would save us quite a bit of money. I think, don't you, Stephen, as far
I
as?
haven't, have you seen the
I haven't
proposal?
seen, I've just kind of heard, but I still think that, I mean, I think this needs to be signed for Abby's sake because she's been after this since January. But I do think as far as the clinic, I think we need to look at our options.
Don't disagree. Yeah, I think for the people that want to use it and do use it, I think it would still be an option. It's just that the county would get charged on a per use basis,
Right.
based on utilization, not based on hoping
Right.
people are going to utilize it.
I think we need a contract with the a la carte information added to it,
Okay,
and adding also the additional options, which are the enhanced access to urgent care, enhanced access to virtual care, sleep services. We need all that in the contract.
Spell it out.
Yeah,
And what about the medication management?
I'm good
I would
with-
like to see that eliminated.
I'm okay with that as well.
People will still get a prescription written at the clinic, and then they can go to a pharmacy and get it filled. And then our pharmacy benefit manager through Apex currently, McGriff in the future, would manage that, get the right price, and then we would get a rebate for it. We don't get rebates from the clinic today,
right,
and those are big numbers.
right. And I do think people's probably thinking, oh my gosh, they're gonna take away something else from us. And
The employees won't see any change.
right, but as far as their medicine, getting their medicine in the clinic. But a lot of the medicines that we're getting in the clinic are over the counter too. I mean, like for allergies and stuff like that, we can
Right.
get it from the clinic, but we can also get it
Okay.
from the drugstore.
So you're going to follow up with Abby?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I would like to look at the marathon
Okay.
clinic as well, if they have any information to provide.
Has Angela sent anything over on the marathon? I know she
No.
talked about it in the
She
last
talked
meeting.
about it. I have not talked to her to know, but she has not sent anything over. But I do think it's something that I think we need to look into it.
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
So I don't know if it's going to be a savings or not.
We don't know because we've not done.
Motion to put the IU Health Master Agreement back on the table.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan?
yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes. All right, next we have the minutes from the meeting on June 2nd, 2025.
I sent corrections, and it looks like the one that we have in our packet is the corrected, so I'd make a motion to approve.
Let's,
To remove them.
let's make a motion to remove it from the table.
Remove from the table.
Second,
We have a motion to remove from the table in a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan?
yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes. Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion to approve in a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan?
yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes. Next, we have the edit plan. I entertain a motion to remove that from the table.
So move,
Second.
A motion to take that from the table in a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan?
yes.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
So this has my name beside it. I'll just start off if
Go
you
ahead.
guys are okay with that. So we have a new edit plan, proposed edit plan in front of us. It's a 3-year plan, although we don't have to put out a 3-year plan as I understand it. We could do a 2-year plan, but this is a 3-year plan. It would take effect July 1st, so I understand that's retro, but there was no requirement statutorily to have this done before July 1st. It just had to have edit in there for the 6 months remaining in 2025, all of 26, all of 27, and the first 6 months in 28. The categories, Project 1, that is all of our debt service. There's a bond and a bot. The bot's for the Justice Center, and there was a bond issue, and then the bank service fees. The second project is for the IRAX program. That takes place out at the jail. Right now, that's currently planned or proposed to be funded at $75,000 a year. We left in Project 3, the various assistance to the towns, the incorporated towns in the county, so $50,000 for Selma and Albany and Daleville, et cetera. That's $300,000 a year for 26, 27, and 28. The reason it's all in the first 6 months of 28 is because it's usually given out in the first 6 months. So economic development, there's about $130,000 a year in Project 4. Amoresco, Project 5. This is something the county entered into back in 2012 or 2013. It was mostly to do with the old Justice Center, which we no longer own. And at that time, the county council was leading this, and the county council decided to borrow the money. So we're paying on the loan, I believe it's to Bank One, roughly $300,000 a year for each year. And I think we still have to pay on that through 2030. I think December 31st of 2030. So we don't even own the building, but we're still paying on the loan.
Well, this building was included a little bit.
This building had 4 LED lights out front and 1 air handler.
Oh,
I would say 98% of this
Well,
money
that's
was spent at the Justice Center when
It was, you're
I
correct.
reviewed the contract.
Yep, you're correct.
And this was a county council activity back then. This
That's
wasn't the
correct.
commissioners at the time. Animal control, $75,000 a year. We have an interlocal with the city of Muncie. That's in Project 6. Project 7, professional fees. We do have to pay admin, legal fees, et cetera. That's $20,000 a year. Project 8, abandoned properties. We're providing $50,000 a year there. Tom Fauch and his team do a great job. Project 9's health and wellness. We have about $300,000 for the first couple of years there, and then it tapers off. So that's front loaded to try to take care of a couple things that we know are coming. Project 10 on the fairgrounds, $50,000 a year. That's been pretty customary, but we are going to put, $42,500 in this year to do a roof and replace a beam in one of the buildings that's sagging. So those are 2 special projects that we plowed in for this year. Project 11, this is a big change. We added IT software maintenance and equipment, put $150,000 in for this year and then $75,000 for the following years. There's a lot that needs to be done with updating our IT infrastructure. Project 12, capital investment and maintenance, roughly $450,000 over the 3-year period. Project 13, ADA and Title VI compliance. That's what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. We have $100,000 in for this year. That's to pay the consultant and to try to get some things corrected right away after the report comes out. And then $20,000 for 26 and 27, because we have to maintain and update that program every year. That's a smaller amount. And then every 3rd year, we have to redo it. So in 28, we have $100,000 again. Project 14's Bridge 112. That's 600 west over Williams Creek. We had a shortage there, so we put $150,000 in this year to cover that. And then county engineering, this would be salary assistance or maybe part-time help at the engineering department. We put $40,000 in for 25, 26, 27, and 28. And then we put in some money for Cardinal Greenway. There is a section of the Cardinal Greenway north of Gaston, about a mile, that's unfinished, and that would assist them with a study. I know that there was a lot of opposition up there when that Greenway was talked about finishing, with the landowners not wanting the Greenway to go through their area. So I'm not sure where that'll go, but if they want to do a study, there would be $25,000 available. And then Project 17, this is new for our edit plan, the Youth Opportunity Center. They've come and asked for a contract increase from the commissioners. So the commissioners give them around $500,000 a year. They came and asked us for another 160 or 180. I can't remember exactly which one. We have a lot of numbers in my head, but we put in 80,000 for this year, and then 100,000 for 26, 130 for 27 and 28, and hoping that the Youth Opportunity Center can either find ways to raise additional revenues by raising the price on out-of-county youth, or having some fundraisers or something. But we can't continue to fund that to the tune of $700,000 a year. I even floated the idea of privatizing the Youth Opportunity Center if it can't sustain. Not sure what's going to happen with Senate Rolled Act number 1 and where our funds are going to come from in the future, but I think in 2028 We have some significant challenges on our horizon. That's all my update.
That was a complete update. Sherry, do you have anything to add?
Only that the heel cabins didn't get itemized, but we did talk about that.
It's not itemized, but
But
it's in
it
that
is part of it.
42,500.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, the roof on the field cabins, yeah, it's in that 42,500.
Thank you.
Yep.
I move we adopt.
Got a motion for adoption
Second.
and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have approval of minutes, Commissioner meeting, June 16th, 2025.
Couple quick edits here under table business. Exilio is EXILIO. That is, yeah, that was under table business for the solar moratorium. And two other real quick. Department heads and elected officials, Megan Catino is MEGAN, Catino. And then under, at the end, we were talking about the 2.5 million grant, and this says claim request. So it's the $2.5 million grant. And then Auditor Carroll provided an update on that. Those are my only corrections. Good job.
Sherry, do you have anything?
No, thank you. We accept that's corrected.
Second.
We have a motion to approve with corrections and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have presentations to the commissioners. We have Real Black Excellence here. Is Stephen Hargrave here? Yes, there he is. Hello, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing well.
Good.
How are you?
Good, good. Stephen Hargrave with Real Black Excellence, 2905 North Wheeling Avenue. I am glad to be in front of you once again and appreciate all the time that you allow us to come and present to you. We are essentially, as you know, an intervention organization. Our focus is on helping the community function as a community. We have over 600 nonprofits, and usually there's a scrapping, as it were, for money and trying to work it out the best way that we can. So what we do is we focus on gifts and realizing that gifts and the interaction of those gifts is what creates community. And so what we would like to do is focus here on three things, and that is partly the job creation that we have been able to do through our coalition and our working together, and the attacking of the food desert and the urban market, and then finally with education. So concerning the job creation, as you know, I'm assuming all of you would know about Nortec Trailers. Through our business coalition, Nortec Trailers is being able to come to Muncie. It's a manufacturing job. We're very proud of being able to make that connection and bringing manufacturing to Muncie. And as you know, on Fusan Road, I'm assuming that you would know on Fusan Road, the work has begun to bring a smart facility here to facilitate the manufacture of trailers. And we look for many jobs to be brought to the Delaware County, Muncie area. We're so proud of that because this is just a function of what we do. And just a brief highlight on that trailer company called Nortec. Quarter one was a record-breaking quarter, of course, and April had the highest sales to date. And then in May, they shipped out, we're a coalition with them. They shipped out more trailers than they ever have before. We also have training in progress right now, bringing jobs to the community, and we're happy to do that. So that's happening now. The leaders are being trained, and then we hope to expand it to much more broad job creation. Regarding the attacking of the food desert, what we're doing, we have on Ohio, it's called 5 Points, those of you that know where 5 Points is. We have purchased that building, we're renovating that building, and a market has been approved there in order to facilitate the production of, or the distribution of produce primarily, but we hope to do much more than that. We hope to do training, preservation, all kinds of gardening through Legacy, which is a part of Real Black Excellence. And also summer training is going on there at this present moment. So again, we're very proud of that. Thousands of pounds of produce has been given to attack the food desert. What we do as an organization, we approach all these things holistically as opposed to just individually. So as we approach fighting poverty and crime and drugs and all those things, we feel like the bringing jobs to the community is in fact fighting crime, is in fact fighting drugs, is in fact giving the people what they need. And it's all connected, so we can't really address it individually. So the last thing that I want to mention is we're very excited about our education intervention. As some of you know, we through the last 3 years have been in the Muncie Community Schools working as interventionists. Through our program, we've been able to do market analysis and research there, and we've developed a program that we are so extremely proud of. And I'd like to tell you briefly about one young man that came to us. We were told that he could not learn. He was in the 4th grade. How that happened, I'm just not aware of the structure of how that happens, but he was in 4th grade and did not know his alphabet, was told that he couldn't learn. And so he was brought to us, and we have developed a program, a philosophy, not a curriculum, because there's so many curriculums. We've developed a philosophy that would inculcate into the people that need to learn what they need. And we were able to teach that young man how to read. In order to read, you have to first be read. And reading is much more than just calling letters. And so we were able to teach that young man how to read. And not only that, through our publishing company, he's read more than 30 books. He's, of course, learned the alphabet. He's in 4th grade. Read more than 30 books and has authored a book. And he couldn't read. This is all done in less than a year. He's authored a book. We gave the mayor the report, and the mayor was so excited. He said, look, bring that young man and his family to us. So he's going to have a book signing with the mayor today. And we're very proud of him, very proud of what we've been able to do. And lastly, we'll have a coaching session on the philosophy of how we do that, how we address that. It's actually costing the country billions of dollars, and Muncie and the Delaware County area is costing millions of dollars to have people that are not able to read on grade level. And again, I'll say, as I close, reading is far more than just calling letters. Somebody can call letters and not even know what they're doing. Reading is more comprehensive than that. And so we're very proud of our program that we've been able to develop. We're going to do a coaching session at the end of this month. And if anyone is interested in that, they can just simply call us and register. And we're at 744-1021, 744-1021. It's a comprehensive program that helps the students be seen. It's not a curriculum. It's a philosophy of how we have done this, how we actually were enabled to help the student be seen, help them to know how to read, and then help them to be developed into the way that they should go. So I thank you for that. Just a very brief update. So much more time I can take, but I thank you for the time that you've allowed.
Thank you very much.
Are there any
sir.
questions at all?
Appreciate it.
We love the good news.
Oh.
We love the good news. Keep it up.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you're more than welcome. Thank you.
Next, we have Tony Johnson, the 2025 JAG grant.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tony Johnson, a captain with Delaware County Sheriff's Office. The city of Muncie manages the JAG grant, which is through the Department of Justice. It's a grant that offers compensation for increased patrols through Delaware County. They share that grant with us, and for this year, we've been awarded $18,093 that we can put to use for overtime initiatives. Generally, I use that for the fair to keep deputies out there through the fair. So I just want to make you aware of that.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next, we have Kylene and Heather.
Good morning. Heather Williams, President of the Muncie Action Plan, a 501c3 nonprofit here in Muncie and Delaware County. If you don't mind, I'd like to bring some documents up.
Sure.
Morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we're just here to provide a brief update on the Together DM action framework. The county provided $10,000 to the Muncie Action Plan back in 2023, and we have expended the funds. So I wanted to make sure that you all knew how we spent the money. So we had about a year's worth of meetings after Marta Moody passed. MAP was in a place where we were working with the Delaware Muncie Metropolitan Planning Commission on the comprehensive planning process and the new comprehensive plan and the new strategic plan for the city of Muncie. And we brought together the Together DM Coalition. And those funds paid for those meetings, for that, for the planning of that. And then $5,000 of the $10,000 went into the document you have in front of you, which is the action framework. So that total cost for that plan was $23,000. $5,000 came from the county, $10,000 came from the community foundation, $5,000 from Ball Brothers, and then $3,000 from the Muncie Action Plan. So you're a small piece of the funding puzzle for that document. But I've also provided you with MAP's annual report from 2024. So you can see overall all the work that we accomplished last year. And I've got Kylene here, who is leading the Together DM Coalition, and so the action framework is now in Kylene's hands. So I'm just going to have her say a few words about where we're at in that process.
Kylene Swackhammer, Planning Commission, also the Secretary of MAP. So basically, now that the document is completed, we are using this document to identify action items, prioritize them, look at existing and potential partnerships, and then focus on implementation and evaluation of all of our efforts. We identified a lot of stakeholders and potential partners in the process of making this document. We completed a prioritization list by having a stakeholder survey. So we were able to identify the things that needed immediate attention, people thought were high priorities. So there is a priority schedule in there of high, medium, and low priorities. This does address the three main goals of the comp plan, which is the quality of place, opportunities for upward mobility, and then to strengthen housing conditions. So those were the three categories that we looked at. There's a lot of action items in there. There's a lot of partnerships listed. There's a lot of ways that we can implement those. And then we will need to increase communication, get feedback loops, and so forth in order to report on our progress. The goal is to give an annual report on the progress of how this document and the items listed in it are coming along. So that progress report is going to include key activities completed, any milestones that were achieved, challenges encountered, and then that will be provided at MAP's annual community report.
Do you know when that report is?
That event is
At the end of January every year.
every year.
And you'll find that on our social media, on MAP social media, and we also put, we have a series of articles that go into the Muncie Journal leading up to the annual report, where we report on all of our task force work. And you'll be able to find this document on the Muncie Action Plan website, the county website, and then muncieneighborhoods.org.
Yeah, so this is our first presentation of this document to those that have helped in its creation. So we're going to continue this to get this out there and inform everyone that needs to be informed, as well as informing everyone that will be working with us in coordination of the action items in this document.
So the current Together DM plan is the comprehensive plan for Delaware County that was adopted by the commissioners in 2022, I believe, February.
Yes.
This is a result of the workshops that have been taking place
Yes.
over the last year?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. This was completed in March of this year.
Okay.
So now it's time to implement this action framework.
Yeah, and the goal of this was just kind of to take that Together DM comp plan, turn it from a vision into action. So it doesn't just, sit on a shelf as a plan. It's to make it actionable.
Any other questions,
Thank you.
comments?
Appreciate the update.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we have, I'll probably butcher this, but Axios Group, or did they make it?
I don't believe so. I make
Okay,
a
this,
motion.
this, individual called and said they were stuck in traffic and didn't think they'd make it. Next is the, Duke Energy Grant, Mr. Catino.
Morning, Commissioner. John Catino, Emergency Management Director. If you recall, last meeting, I requested the opportunity to apply for a Duke Energy grant for $3,000. We were awarded that grant, so I just need to go through the steps of getting the ordinance created to deposit the funds. I think Mr. Brook was working on that.
You have to have a fund for that, a special fund.
Yeah.
Sir.
I'll double check the status of that. He didn't tell me whether it was done or not.
Okay.
When do you have to have that done by?
Sooner, just as soon as we can, so we can get the money deposited. I haven't received the check yet, but I think what they'll do is ACH it to the county, so I'll have to go to the council anyways. I'm on their agenda as well.
Gotcha.
What was the amount?
3,000.
Do we take any official action then today, or do we need to wait on the ordinance? Okay. Thank you, John. We'll get it all taken care of.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Next, we have, contracts and agreements for approval, American Structure Point. Colleen, you should have just stayed up there.
Is that this?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm back. Kylie Swackenmer, Planning Commission. So we have signed and executed this agreement with American Structure Point. We received 2 proposals in response to our RFP for someone to complete the ADA transition plan. One from American Structure Point and one from Rundell Ernstberger. The steering committee did review these proposals and score them, and the firm that was chosen was American Structure Point. They were the lowest cost, as well as they were the one that was able to meet the timeline that we're working with. They have an hourly rate that's listed, but it is a fee not to exceed $60,200. And we did submit that document to them, and they have started their work.
Very good.
Okay, one other thing I do want to say, I did want to acknowledge and give appreciation to a couple of agencies that provided some grants for this work. The Ball Brothers Foundation is contributing $5,000 to pay for this plan. And the Community Foundation is also contributing $5,000 to pay for this plan.
So the American Structure Point proposal was 60,000, if I recall.
60,200, that's not to
Not to
exceed.
exceed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 10,000 in grants, but we can get we get state or federal money.
Federal money, so once this is completed and we've paid for it, through my office, we could receive an 80% reimbursement for the costs that we've paid.
So do we need to take?
None of that grant money, obviously, but
No, I believe
The
we took
remainder.
action on this last meeting. I don't think there's any action that,
yeah, at the
Require.
last meeting, I think you voted to approve whichever
Yeah, we did.
proposal that the steering committee voted on and accepted.
we appreciate the update.
Okay, and then just a reminder too, the next public input meeting is anticipated for August 6th, but please go ahead and grab the papers that I put out earlier as far as gaining information, input, and feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, Foundry Row.
Hello, my name is Alex Stevens. I'm with Kimley Horn, the civil engineer working on the Foundry Row project on Cowan Road with TWG Development. We're here today to look for a variance request, drainage variance. This site presented some significant challenges with drainage design. In particular, it's a flat site, so we had to build it up substantially to get depth for drainage infrastructure. And as written, the stormwater manual allowed us zero stormwater discharge, meaning that we would have to contain all stormwater on site. So we worked with VS Engineering, who's the third-party drainage reviewer, and the county engineering department to come up with a solution that would work best for the project and for the county. So to address the depth issue for the storm sewer, we are upgrading the class of pipe, so using a stronger concrete pipe for to reduce the cover limit on that pipe. And we have maximized the size of our detention and minimized the discharge, but more importantly shown that the downstream culvert and the ditch on Cowan we're discharging to has capacity for what we're proposing. So we have, we've submitted a letter from VS recommending those approvals and a variance request letter to the county commissioner's office. And so we're here today asking for that variance. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Alex. So you mentioned you upgraded the reinforced concrete pipe. So you went to a class 4 reinforced concrete pipe, which is a heavier duty because you can't achieve the 3 feet of cover that goes over the top of it, right?
Correct.
Okay. But to compensate for the lack of cover, you've upgraded the strength of the pipe.
Yes, so it's a stronger pipe. It can handle less cover.
Will this be in the, this won't be in the drive, will it?
Sorry?
This won't be in any kind of drive access or anything, will it? Is it gonna be in the yard area? Where's it gonna be, where's it
Is what
located?
gonna be in the drive access?
The pipe,
The pipe, this is just the pipes that collect stormwater, like in the parking lot and from the roof drains from the buildings, and then they discharge to a dry detention.
I understand. Are any of these gonna be in the parking lot?
In the parking lot,
Yeah.
yes.
They're gonna have less than
Less than 3 feet.
3 feet of cover? Are you worried about trucks breaking those down?
No, 3 foot is the requirement in the county manual. Most other places have less requirement for that. And, just for reference, this class 4 pipe for NDOT only requires 1 foot of cover.
Okay. Any other questions? Entertain motion for approval.
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion to approve the request and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Chambers.
Don Chambers, Superintendent of Maintenance. What this ALC building automation system contract is for the 911 building. I've got controls that I can control for this building here, but for some reason down the line at some point, we lost controls at the 911 building where I can't see anything or do anything with it from a computer. So it went bad. So their quote is $7,250 for a new system, an upgraded system. I mean, it just makes it easier for me to be able to, from home, if something happens, I can control it all from home. I can control it from here. I can see what's going on with the system. So it's just, if we got the money to do it, then great. And if we don't, then so be it. So, but I just think it'd be good that I can have controls and see what's going on.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, we have the funds. I mean, collectively between the Justice Center and the county building, I think still in this year's plan, we have about $93,000 between the two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the ALC automated logic contract.
Second,
A motion to approve the request and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan,
yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have discussion in reference to the Constellation gas
Yep, thank you.
service.
So in the last meeting, it came up towards the end of the meeting about the Constellation contract, and there was a comment about Constellation as a utility managing company specifically on our natural gas. And there was a comment in the meeting that maybe we've been paying double bills. So I asked for a copy of the contract and been looking into it. I met with the auditor and his team, and they provided some documentation that certainly makes it look like we're paying Constellation and CenterPoint Energy for the same bill. Now, I'm not so sure that there's anything wrong with that, though. I contacted an acquaintance that I would consider an expert in reviewing these types of agreements, and this is the letter that he wrote me back. Stephen, thanks for the info. The purchase agreement replaces Vectren North Supply with NYMEX, that's NYMEX, based commodity price from Constellation. The agreement looks to be in order, so that's good news. The county is on what's called a smart portfolio, which procures 75% of projected usages at NYMEX future price in small slivers, basically 2 to 3 years out. So it's a way of hedging and cooperating with others that use gas and trying to avoid big spikes in thermal costs like we had in 2021 and back in 2008. Typically, we pay $5 to $6 or $8, and back during those time periods I mentioned, some people were paying up to $150, so this protects you from that. The remaining gas commodity, 25% of the bills, the current month NYMEX on the settlement prices. Since your contract date of 2022, NYMEX has been consistently better than Vectren North rates, so far it's been a good thing. What I'm asking to do today is go one step further, and it will take action and approval by the commissioners. The last piece of the puzzle is to bridge the contract to the billing. This company, which is called Cost Stewardship, can easily do this with a utility permission letter, which allows us the usage and billing data. This would be at no cost to the county. So they're basically willing to look it over, consult based on a relationship that I have with somebody. So there's a letter in front of you guys today. Pretty simple. I
So
don't know.
do they kind of merge the
Yeah, what Constellation does is they buy gas futures and they work with a lot of companies in different regions. And if it's, cold in Texas and warm here,
Right.
things are shared back and forth as an example. And we get the benefit of their conglomerate, basically.
So there was no double billing though.
It doesn't appear to
No.
be, but the one way to make sure, he's basically saying, hey, if I can get a utility permission letter, which will allow me to contact your utilities and show that we have permission from the commissioners, I can tie the billing to the contract. And just to make 100% sure. In general, he said it looks clean. So if we want him to take that extra step at no cost, we would need to,
It kind of maybe adds the address to, because it was kind of confusing.
that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So all the bills have a meter number and an address to them.
It's costing EMS a ton of money, and they're about out of money in their budget
That's right.
already for this year.
So I recommend we take this additional step.
So you're asking for approval to sign this letter and send it off?
That's correct. And it says, to whom it may concern, please be advised, Cost Stewardship Incorporated has been engaged by us to assist in identifying utility cost reduction opportunities. To complete the work, contact with your company may be necessary. So they would send this to CenterPoint Energy.
Is there a cost?
There's zero cost.
So it's just a percent of whatever we're paying the gas.
You're asking about the Constellation
Yes.
contract. The answer is no to
So
that.
maybe they need to come and do a visual audit.
Constellation,
Yes.
right. This company is proposing to take our actual utility bills,
Right.
get information straight from the utility company
Okay,
to put into their actuarial cost models and see if it ties out
okay,
properly.
to see if we're not.
But
being
this isn't
overpaid.
Constellation. That's right.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
This is not Constellation. I don't disagree. Constellation should come and give a proposal.
I mean, yeah,
Have you seen this letter, Daniel?
I just read it.
Okay, thank you. Okay with it?
thank
All right,
you.
I'd entertain a motion for approval, and this again is at no cost, correct?
It's a no cost, and I would make that motion.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan.
yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, we have one more. That's BW's
Oh, yeah.
next to last billing.
we do have we have a bill for, from BW for the, treatment center. Have you got that claim done for that? Okay. It's $673,724.81 for that. I'm sorry? Okay, okay.
And I notified BW that if this was approved today, it would be in the next billing cycle, and they said they understood.
Yeah.
So I'll give this copy
Could you repeat that?
to Marissa, sure.
Yeah.
$673,724.81. Make a motion to approve.
Second,
We have a motion to approve that payment. And a second roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes,
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
and I believe there will be
That-
2 more payments,
Yeah, that will,
July
that,
and in August.
that's correct. That will need paid from the, ARP interest, Ed.
Okay.
No, hopefully, have we heard anything, has your office heard anything from the $2.5 million grant? We've,
No.
okay,
We've had a lot of communications, but nothing, they've not been able to give us a firm date on when that
okay.
we'll get that money.
Okay, we'll move on to, weights and measures. Everyone get the weights and measures?
I did. I see Eric here. Eric, could you come up? I've got a quick question, and I appreciate the explanations. On the back, and I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right, Karman, is that Carmen Petroleum?
Yes, that's
You rejected 24, you had 24 red tags. They failed to start the pumps. When you asked them to start the test, you spent 1.5 hours waiting on them, and then you left?
Yes, we did. They did not, they were not willing to start the pumps. Tried to give them chances to contact the owner and do that. And when they refused to, the owner refused, said, you know, you can wait around another 2 hours and then I'll be in. We said no. Then we went back later that day, and when we talked to the owner, and I took those red tags off, so.
So they did start the pumps and you were able to test?
We were not able to test, but I talked to the owner and explained to him the importance of the ability for us to be able to test when we come. And he promised to have somebody there, you know, the next day, and we were able to test them the next day.
Okay, were they compliant?
Yeah, they were compliant, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary other than they, you know, they had a couple that I think failed, but they just,
Where's that station located?
it's on the corner of Godman and Tillotson.
Thank you.
Kind of a red flag for you. Have you had that problem before?
We've had some problems with very slow. What it was is they just had a gentleman in there that just didn't know how to do it. And
Oh,
the owner just refused to explain it to him till he got in, and I don't normally do that. I usually am very a lot more patient.
I don't blame you. I would have red tagged it too.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, we'll get started, and then we waited and waited and waited, and it's just finally it's like, I use the red tag as a last resort, usually if it's damaged or something, but
Sure.
so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
All right, I skipped over department heads, elected officials. I apologize. Department heads, elected officials?
Good morning, Commissioners. Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. I want to give you a brief update about a couple of things going on in the jail. 2 weeks ago, we had our annual DOC inspection, and we passed that with flying colors. The following day, we had an inspection from the U.S. Marshals and the federal government. We have to do that to be compliant to house the federal inmates, and that was also a solid pass. So I want to give a shout out to Captain Dye and all of our corrections officers for the hard work that they do, and just being real professionals. So, you know, we're about 6 weeks into our new food service in the jail, and, haven't heard any complaints. They're running very smoothly, so, happy about that too. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. You talked about your edit plan a little bit ago. Part of that was your commitment to the IRACS program. I want to commend you for that. We are still only one of a handful of counties in Indiana that has that program in our jail. It is an overwhelming success. So I thank you for your commitment and hope that you stick with that as long as it's available to us. So appreciate it.
You know what, Sheriff, they sit out in a hallway, don't they, daily, and
Yep.
put their chair against the wall when they leave. I was wondering if we could let them use our conference room out there that we do not use.
Well, I
Give
think
them a
they do
little-
that. I think that's an ideal location because when they release inmates, they have to walk down that hallway.
Right?
It's still in the secured part, so it's not out in public, but they have to walk through there.
Okay.
So if they're in that conference room,
Okay.
they might sneak by him, they get
Okay.
by him or something,
Okay,
so,
I can appreciate that.
yeah.
I just was, I saw.
No, I know, I get it, yeah.
But, yeah, I understand, but, okay. But it's a great program, and I'm so glad, yes, tell Captain Dye.
I will.
Thanks for
Thank you.
clean
Yep.
kitchen and all.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
John Catino, Emergency Management Director. I think a couple meetings ago, and I know Commissioner Henry sits on one of my boards as well as Councilman Cantz. We are in conjunction with our multi-hazard mitigation plan update that we just conducted, which should be coming to you guys for approval here soon. We're also having a commodity flow study completed of our county on our local state roads and whatnot. So that is starting today. I sent an email out to, I think, all the commissioners as well as my LEPC board and local fire chiefs and police chiefs, just for their knowledge, because if there's not a public area for the person doing a study and to sit, they will be sitting along the side of the road with their flashers on, probably with some badge or identification on them. So just a little heads up for that. But testing or studying will be going on the whole month of July, and I should have a report back with all the data by August. September, I'll have it presented to me, and we'll get that dispersed to all the local fire jurisdictions and police departments. So just want to give you guys a heads up or a update on that commodity flow study, if you have any questions.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you for working on that.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Any other department head or elected official? Okay, we'll go to the payment of claims of $2,564,515.82.
So move.
I'll second. May I explain a couple?
Go
of
ahead.
these? So a couple big ones in the claims today. USI Travelers, they are our underwriter for most of our vehicles and our risk management. That payment coming out today is $483,468.50. Out of our engineering bridge fund, we spent $78,113.84. We paid Open Doors Services $60,000, Ball State University $47,000. Those are for health services through the health department. Wheel tax spends basically on materials for our road repair, $227,466.81. Spent about another, let me add that up real quick, maybe $8,000 on jury duty. We pay people to do that. And in general, much better on the explanations. Still no explanations on the credit cards, and I, in my head, added them up. They're a little over $50,000 with no explanations. And then, again, generally, we're doing better, but we have a lot of vehicle repairs with no explanations, and I want to make sure that we are actually repairing county vehicles. So I'll work with the team to get better explanations on our vehicle repairs.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
No.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have payment of ARP claims, $44,073.09.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have payment of spring settlement claims of $62,167,868.07.
So move.
Second. May I explain a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were settlement settlement taxes in here basically are property taxes, and the auditor's office does a lot of work there reconciling that with the treasurer's office. Of that $62 million claim, $51,975,601.80 are the settlement taxes for the property taxes. There was also commercial vehicle excise tax in there, some drainage, I'm sorry, not drainage, the spring stormwater, with the MS4 that goes to the Muncie Sanitary District, Yorktown, pardon? Selma, thank you, Tanya, Selma, and the county. That was $4,139,996.12. Big numbers. Hey, do we charge those folks that are receiving these funds for the administrative activities in your office?
Not to my knowledge.
Are we allowed to?
I'm gonna look into it. I don't know that it's allowed by statute, but I'll double check to make sure.
I mean, you guys do a lot of work, and the treasurer's office, right, to administer this twice a year. This is just the spring settlement.
Yeah, just part of government.
I'd like to know if we can charge them.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve that?
Yes. Yeah, we made a motion a second, no, I
Okay.
explained.
Okay, did you get all that, Ed?
Yes.
Okay, roll call then.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes,
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Next, we have the payment of payroll for 6/18/2025, $1,042,787.58.
so move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes,
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. All right, we'll go to public comment. The first individual, I believe, is Mr. Page.
Hi, good morning.
Right.
I'm Ramed Page. This is my wife, Mackenzie's Page. She's going to pass you out some pictures and some references to a property that we have. We live at 1713 South Franklin Street, Muncie, Indiana. So we purchased a property at 6701 East Hickory Lane, Muncie, Indiana, March 6th. And it has a storm drain that's been flooding in the front and backyard. It's caused major issues to the crawl space and damage. And to fix that, I had the crawl space encapsulated and put a sump pump, but we're still having issues there. So I just wanted to bring it to the board. I've talked to multiple people that we have, the highway department. They've been out there and flushed it twice, but we're still having issues with the drain. And you can see in the picture, it's just been causing us a big headache.
what's your cross streets you're between?
The cross streets, it's right off 32, so it's like you're going out towards Selma in East Hickory Lane, the Woodland neighborhood out there.
Okay,
Lafayette Drive.
Yeah, I have a plot, a mat up there for you guys to see. It's all in there.
yeah. Is that, Truett, out there close to Truett?
So do you know, Mr. Page, is this a regulated drain?
So there's an easement on the drain. It should be regulated, I assume by the city. The highway department was maintaining it. I was able to reach out to Heather Beard from there, and she helped me send Cooley out, but we're still having these issues. But then we kind of spoke further about it, and like it's still having a problem. She informed me that it's major issues in the whole area, and it's been a major issue, and it's just never been taken care of. So
Address.
Has this ever come up at the drainage board, Sherry?
No. Well, I've only been on about 4 months, but no. I'm trying to think of, Tommy, is this the old Troop? The neighborhood?
It's close to that, Sherry.
Yeah.
So this is a rental property for you?
So I was going to sell the property. I usually buy properties, tax sale, renovate, and I usually sell, but I had trouble selling this one due to the fact that it had the huge water issues, and I have to disclose that. Also a local realtor here, so I had to take it off the market, and now I'm just keeping the property, and I probably will have to rent it out since I can't sell it right now.
Yeah, I do apologize, but when I became a commissioner a few years ago, there was gonna be $600,000 review. What happened, I think, over the years, Tommy, is when the developer developed that area, they didn't consider drainage back then. And it's just a sad situation that,
Yes, I've talked to quite a few of the neighbors out there in the neighborhood, and I have some of the addresses of different houses that also experience the same issues. And the neighbor, he told me, he's been there for years. He said once they changed over to the new system, there's just been a huge issue ever since then.
That is time, commissioners.
Thank you.
Okay.
I still have a question.
Go ahead.
You said when they switched over to a new system, what's that mean?
It used to be septic and well out there, but it's no longer septic and well. So they switched to like the city sewer.
So is that Liberty Regional Waste District or Muncie Sanitary District?
Liberty.
It's Liberty. And since then, they've had
Major
flooding
issues.
problems.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The drainage board does meet Wednesday at
Sorry
9
about
o'clock.
that.
Give those to her. All right, next is, Mr. Barry. Dan Barry.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Dan Barry. I live at 2901 East County Road 800 North in Eaton. And I'd like to talk about this new amendment to the solar ordinance that is currently in place. It looks like most of the ordinance will change. I didn't see who was the author or authors who worked on this amendment. Was a study group formed to consider all the differences to the ordinance? The first ordinance was passed years ago after much hard work by the study committee. With that solar ordinance on the books is when the solar developers began to lease ground from individuals for solar. Now, all these years later, you are trying to change all the rules before any developers can even get started. I would venture to say that every landowner has a signed contract with a solar company that they believe will treat their property correctly while the solar panels are on the property. This is private property of the farmer, so I don't think the commissioners or the plan commission needs to micromanage what is going on for private property. If my property is left with panels because the developer went bankrupt, do you really believe the county would come in and get involved with a cleanup? I don't think so. It's time for the commissioners to let the original solar ordinance stand and start receiving money from the developer to the county. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Cheryl Dawson.
Okay, Cheryl Dawson. I live at the corner of State Road 28 and Wheeling Avenue North in Muncie. I'm not going to talk about solar today, other than say I do occupy my home. I noticed there was a change saying occupied dwellings, and it's not really defined. But anyway, what I really want to ask is, I was reading the Delaware County Muncie Transportation Improvement Plan for 2026 through 2030. And there's an interesting line item in there in the projects. It's listed under NDOT, but I believe it started here at the county level. And it sounds like they want to commandeer or use eminent domain to claim the railroad land from State Road 28 all the way northward to State Road 26. I own the beginning portion of that land right at State Road 28. It is an important part of my farm. It runs right smack through the middle of it. My mother purchased that land fairly squarely, honestly, from the railroad company that was going bankrupt in 1980. And so that's been 45 years that we've owned that land and used it right through the middle of our farm, and then contiguous with the next little farm to the north that's all contiguous with the main farm. And it sounds like when I read that line item that they want to take it. For the reason, I don't know. It doesn't say what reason. Doesn't say if it's a road they want through there. Doesn't say if they want a greenway. It doesn't say perhaps that it's for solar, like maybe transmission lines. I just don't know. I have alerted one farmer nearby who his field, that land runs smack through his field. He's been farming it for 45 years. So there's a misnomer that when it says abandoned railroad land, it is not abandoned. It's been used in various ways by all the people who bought that land when the railroad went bankrupt. So I just wanted to ask if any of you have any information you could share on what the purpose of this would be.
No, that's an NDOT question, I think. I have no
I've
idea.
not heard anything about it.
Well, and I may be wrong in my interpretation, I realize that, but when I read the line item, it's vague, it doesn't say why. And I assumed that's why recently I haven't been allowed to combine that parcel that's railroad land with my main farm. I've been trying, and when I read that, I thought, that's the reason I'm not being allowed to combine the railroad land. We use the right off of 28, oh, sorry.
That's your time. I don't know anything about it.
I don't either. You have my email, Ms. Dawson. I believe you sent me an email in the past. Can you send me what you're talking about, the language?
Yes,
Thank you.
it's on, I found it on the Plan Commission website,
Yeah.
but I will send it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you all.
The specific language that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Next is Rick Enser.
Rick Yancer, newsman, an author. I think a couple of you know I was going to come here and talk about renewable energy, but I think I'm going to talk about money first because I found something interesting that was said about the edit plan. And we're still paying for that Justice Center that the taxpayers, I don't know, it was $80 million. And we're still paying that. And I can't remember 10 years ago what that borrowing was for, but yeah, that seems to be an issue. Besides, I didn't get much notice on the edit plan. I didn't see a public hearing. I only heard it read. I would hope the copies are available to taxpayers so we actually know what you're spending economic development money on, because economic development isn't coming to this community. And as far as renewable energy, I think you know what's going on with renewable energy. It's up the road here. $250 to $500 million by 3 companies that have been approved for solar and turbines. One's in the ground, and they leased, let's see, Blackbird Wind, 18,500 acres, and all they needed was a special use permit. Now that's a real novel approach because they did this during the pandemic when people were locked down. And of course, we, family, were approached by some of these companies, and we said no, even though this company is giving leaseholders 30 years of free energy. Government, business, they can't compete with that. And frankly, what was it last week, the tax and spend bill in Washington? Looking through it, it looks like federal tax credits for renewable energy are going to fade away. If that's the case, these multinational, well, even international companies are not going to spend money. And I don't mean to say that you're wasting your time because, again, if that dries up, that source of money, and with this project just down the road that will take all the supply chain supplies and materials for 66 turbines, a couple thousand windmills, a couple thousand solar panels, there's not going to be any renewable energy here. And remember who the biggest investor in this community is. It's still the university. The university was out the other day taunting a $190 million investment. They don't pay property taxes. They are the largest employer, but they're still not. Most of those people don't even live here. So I hope you look for other solutions to economic development, because I see you're throwing a lot of money into the Greater Muncie Chamber of Commerce, which didn't bother to tell us last year that they let a Chinese data center in here that's taking water and power from Yorktown. There's other data centers that are milling around eastern Indiana wanting to build. And if you've read anything about that, you're going to see that they are a bigger threat to our land and water.
That's it, Mr. Yinzer. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
Next, we have Cheryl Swingley.
Cheryl Swingley, 3908 North Vienna Woods Drive, Muncie. In the 4 or 5 years that Delaware County has been writing and rewriting utility solar ordinances that have routinely been under a poorly defined moratorium, Blackford, Jay, and Randolph counties have moved forward with utility solar, as well as wind in many cases. And now they're way ahead of Delaware County in the renewable energy business. Our 4 counties started on equal footing, but Delaware County is now being left behind and left out. It's difficult to see how the governments of 3 neighboring counties have seen the advantages of utility solar for its farmers and its residents, but not the leaders of our county. I'm not going to go into all the benefits neighboring counties have reaped from renewables. I've done this repeatedly for 3 or 4 years to no avail. I can tell you one thing, though, because our neighboring counties had foresight, I doubt that their residents will see as many closures and loss of employment due to state budget cuts that Delaware County will. Next, I'd like to jump to farmland, prime farmland. I'm going to argue about this. Delaware County is prime farmland. Indiana law says, this is IC 14-34, B of that bill says, for land that historically has been used for intensive agricultural purposes will be considered prime farmland. The farmland that solar is being proposed to be built on has been farmed for years and years and years, through many generations in some cases. I also have had someone do a layered map who's an expert in GIS, and with drainage, farmland is considered prime. And we have drainage throughout our county. So that's a real problem. Next, in connection, oh, and also insurance. I talked to some farmers and I said, do you have trouble getting insurance because you're in a floodplain? Or that you have flooding? And they go, no, that's never an issue raised. So I don't know. I think this is a technique, another way to discourage solar. Finally, I want to address the ordinance as it has been presented. And I think if, I used to teach journalism, and if my students handed me a document like this, I would have said, hey guys, you got to go back. You are not nearly done. This was on one single read of this ordinance. This is pitiful. I think that's my favorite word up here, is pitiful. If this is what you've given the Plan Commission to consider, to vote on, this is not acceptable. You need to do better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Linda Hanson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Hanson, 1400 West North Street, Muncie, Indiana, from the League of Women Voters. And much of what I would have said has already been said. We would like to see an ordinance that can be workable in Delaware County for solar. I am curious, I'm going back to a statement that Stephen Brand made at the beginning that you'd not heard any absolutely no solar comments before. Are we doing a tally of no changes, yes? Are we keeping tabs on all of this? If we are, then we need to back up and look at all of the people who have made comments over the many years and go back to the large hearing that was held on the solar ordinance that is under moratorium. People need to be able to have a say, but You know, some people have said what they have to say in favor of or in opposition to, and expect to be kept on the records so that the most recent ones are not overshadowing everything that has been said in support or opposition in the past. I'd like to see us go back to an ordinance that has been well-written, bring Marta Moody's back, and allow the solar ordinance or the solar panel folks to actually put the panels in place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue Arrington?
Sue Arrington, 3200 Westbrook Drive, State Representative for House District 34. I was asked a month ago, or last month, by a Muncie City Council member how much the city was likely to lose as an impact of the Senate Bill 1. So I did an inquiry, and this is the information that I received. This is for the city. In 2026, the loss would amount to $1.6 million. In 27, $1.8 million. In 2028, it would be $3.3 million. So my question to you is, do you have the figures for what the losses for the county will be? This information I have came from the LSA fiscal impact note, which if you don't have it and would like to have it, I would be happy to make an inquiry for the county. As we were debating that bill, it was said that, well, the local government would either have to, because of the losses, would have to reduce services, or they had the option of the local income tax, raising that. So those were the main options that they gave us. And I don't know I heard, I think Commissioner Brand, you talked about the YOC and might have to make some changes out there as to the amount of money they get from the county. So I'm guessing you're already looking at how you're gonna prepare for this loss of funding. But I do want to bring up another option that is available to Delaware County, and it's the solar ordinance, which I read it, and I feel like it's telling solar companies, we don't want you, don't come here, which is just the opposite of what Mr. Yenser said about our neighboring counties. They're aggressively looking at expanding their tax base while we're saying we don't want to. So I think we need to take a real hard look at our finances and what kinds of ways we can prepare for the losses. And I think that we really need to be looking at a more objective solar ordinance, similar to what the state the state recommended ordinance is, and the one that was drafted under Marta Moody. Thank you.
Thank you. If you could provide that information, I'd be interested in seeing it.
I will get it for you.
County information. Thank you.
All right, next we'll go with the final thoughts or final comments from the commissioners. Mr. Brand?
Yep, thank you. Couple quick things. The Justice Center paving, we'd originally said we were going to try to get that done by the end of July. It does look like that's going to be delayed. So that's right directly in front of the Justice Center where we restriped the old parking lot, improved the handicap and all that. It probably won't be done until August now. So I just wanted to correct the record on that. Let's see. From our Q1 town hall that we had up in Gaston, they brought up a sidewalk that ends at the town limits in Gaston, but there's a dollar store that's in the county, and folks have to walk down the sidewalk, and then to get to the dollar store, they have to get out in the street and walk up to the dollar store. So we've started a study with United Consulting to see what we can do there. I just wanted to provide an update since that had come up previously. Also in House Bill 1001, which is the budget bill for the year, there's language in there, and I'm still working on getting clarification, that says any community mental health care provider with an employee who is non-clinical that makes over $400,000 a year is ineligible to receive a distribution from property taxes or state funds. And currently, the county provides Meridian Health Services somewhere around $800,000 a year. So if you read this literally, it appears that we wouldn't be able to fund Meridian Health Services due to this language that's in House Bill 1001. I'm on that board, and I asked our last board meeting what they thought about that. And they said that they had asked for clarification from the state, and we're waiting on a white paper. So as soon as they get that white paper, I asked if I could have a copy of it. With our benefits, Apex is our current benefit provider. In the last meeting, we approved an agent of record letter to move to McGriff. There is cancellation language in the Apex contract. Basically, Apex will provide benefit services to the employees through October 11th of this year. So effective October 12th, McGriff will take it over completely. So Angela's still going to come. She's going to provide the one-on-ones. Everything's going to still run through Apex. In the meantime, what McGriff is doing is they're working with our providers, like Imagine 360, One America, Swiss Re, Aflac, and others, to get the details so that they can provide us with the accurate numbers that we can build into our budget for next year. Also, after the county council meeting on July 22nd, there will be a public meeting right after that with Baker Tilly. Matt Eckerly will be here to talk about Senate Enrolled Act number 1 and the effects on Delaware County from Senate Enrolled Act number 1. So similar to what you just spoke about, Representative Erickton. So that's a public meeting. Anybody's welcome to attend that. Again, immediately following the county council meeting. Also, on July 18th this year, the Greenfield District of NDOT is hosting a regional roadway roundtable. It is by invite only for Delaware, Jay, and Randolph counties, mostly highway departments and engineers and a few elected officials. NDOT's basically looking for feedback from those 3 counties. It's nice that we're going to be hosting that here in Delaware County. Also, in the last meeting during public comment, Mr. Mike Taylor got up, said he lives at 825 West Charles Street, was interested in the adjacent property at 412 South Proud Street, said he maintains it, and wanted to know if we could convey that property to him because it was in the tax sale. It has been confirmed that that property is in the tax sale. However, the property is not in the name of the county, therefore we can't transfer it. And we couldn't transfer it to a private individual if we wanted to. That would have to go to a public bidding process, and Mr. Taylor would have to bid just like everyone else. What Mr. Taylor can do is bid on this property in the deed sale. One more thing here. House Enrolled Act 1509 is Chapter 9 about disclosure of appointing authority. So new rule starting immediately. Any board, meeting, notice, or agenda must provide the following information regarding each appointed officer serving on a board: the officer's name, the appointing authority, and the beginning and expiration date of the officer's term of appointment. So I believe Commissioner Henry's asked for this information to be posted on our website. I think Jenna and Kyle are going to work together to get this out there, but additionally, we'll have to have it on our agendas. So that's new information there. Let me just look through my handwritten notes here real quick. Walgreens. We were notified, and you maybe already know, Walgreens is closing 2 stores here in Delaware County. They're going to close the one on Morrison Road, and they're going to close the one at the corner of Madison and 12th Street. They didn't really provide any reason, but if you go on Walgreens' website, they're closing a bunch of stores around the county or around the country. Tomorrow, I'm going up to Kokomo to look at their public safety training facility. Last week, we had a fire marshal out at the Justice Center, walked through, and basically reiterated what they had done in the previous walkthroughs, where very little has been done. There is an opportunity list that's pretty comprehensive. We've already started on those things. Some of them are pretty easy fixes. Some of them are going to cost some money, and some of them are going to take some time. But we will get on that. It was nice working with Mr. Brown on that. Also, I have 2 meetings set up. One with some Blackford County people and one with some Randolph County people. They reached out to me. These are people who were in economic development previously when they started their renewable projects in those counties, and they now are saying they have remorse, and they want to tell me why they have remorse today and what their challenges are and the things that we should be looking out for. And then there was a comment about the data center out in Yorktown. I believe you're talking about the one at Park 1 and 332, the data center out there, that was done by the chamber. That was not done by the chamber. You did. Yeah, you can go back and listen to the audio. You said it was done by the Chamber of Commerce. Yep, the record's clear.
That's enough. Go ahead. Go. You done?
Yep, I'm done. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Regan?
Yes, today the fair starts. The July 7th to the 16th, the 4-H events will be going on. And they have something new this year called a Community Day on Monday, July 14th. It's a Monday night where there's no charge for the parking. Now, the only downsides to this, you can still go into the Merchants Building and eat some of the wonderful food, but the carnival rides will not be starting until Tuesday night. So go out, take your grandchildren, and touch a truck. They're doing different events for the free entrance to the fair. But don't forget, you could also walk around. The 4-H events will still be there. Then also, the RCI Regional Planning District would like to have public comment on safer roads around Delaware County, East Central Indiana also. Monday, July the 14th, from 11 to 4, you can stop over at the Innovation Connector and give your opinion to them, or you can do one of these, and I don't know which one for sure is there, but they do want to hear from the public on what you think.
They will also have a booth at the fair
Are
set
they
up.
going to?
Yes,
Good,
yes,
good.
absolutely.
Would you put this in the minutes, please? So that's all I have.
All right, it's very good. The county will be working on a codification project, codifying the ordinances and resolutions. The commissioners signed agreement back in September of 2021. John has been working with Ed's office. Ed, we appreciate you guys helping get all those ordinances and everything put together. So, American Legal Publishing will be the ones working on that. So if you get a phone call or anything from them, you know what's going on. So it's something we've been working on for a long time. Hope to have it all done,
9
soon.
months.
Probably next year, yeah, but that's a big project. So that's going on right now. If we don't have anything else, I'll entertain a motion for recess.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion for recess and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes, we're in recess.